All right, good morning. This is probably our fifth take, and we're here in Monroe Executive, south of Charlotte. We're going to be doing a quick flight, 45-minute flight over to Raleigh Executive. I was having a little bit of an issue with the fuel gauges not reading. Had some maintenance on the aircraft, and believe we got it working. So we're going to give it a try here. It's also been cold, so starting has been difficult. So hopefully things will work in our favor. So we're approaching the aircraft now. It's all currently tied down. Um, so we're just doing our initial inspection as we walk up, and we'll jump in and go through our checklist. So we clear our checklist here from previous. Okay. So we have our pilot handbook on board. We've done our weight and balance. It's just me on board, my 10-pound bag. I did order full fuel, so we'll double check the gauges, check the tanks, and the quality of the fuel. And so we'll just come in, jump right in. Control ignition is off, and okay. So we're gonna go battery on. See, our fuel indicators do indicate that we're full, so we can check that. Avionic master on. We can hear our fans. Check our static. Now in a real world, you'd see these gauges move a slight bit, and that's how you know that it's good. Test our annunciator. Panel's good. Fuel selector is to both. Shut off is in. Okay, we'll extend our flaps. And we're gonna check our lights and pitot. From here, we'll jump out. And we'll, oops, a little quick there. Running through the wing. All right. So, I'm gonna grab our pitot covers and engine covers, everything while we're out here. But lights are looking good. And sorry for the jerkiness here. I had this on a controller, but I think the controller had a conflict in binding, and that was what was causing my fuel gauge to be in op. Because as soon as I turned that off and reset, things seem to just work just fine. So, all right. So we're gonna take all these off, jump back in. Okay. So we checked our lights, our pitot heat, and there we go. Okay. Oil level's good. Just over 6.5 quarts. We're within our 100 hours. We're gonna take off all of those. I had to turn this off, but I'm gonna turn this back on.
Saving enabled.
All right. So we can turn our avionics off and our master off. All right. Just finish off our checklist here. Checked our fuel quality, fuel quantity. They're all good. Checked our oil, we're 6.5. Inlets are good. We checked our prop spinners, all good. RO filters, no obstructions. Nose wheel and strut and tire are good. We checked our left fuel. The stall warning is clear. Wing tie down is good. We checked our landing lights. We checked our ailerons and flaps, and our pitot tube is off. Okay. So before start, checklist. So we have our pre-flight, so we'll just walk through our flight plan here real quick. We are, like I said, at Monroe. So weather here, winds 260 at 4, so we're going to be departing 23. It's left traffic, so pretty straightforward. Go left traffic and depart to the southeast. Temperature at 7, 299 so we can set our altimeter here. And so we'll just go to 30 and then back to. As I said, running 23. So we're going to overfly Monroe, town of Monroe, then we're going to follow 74. We're going to follow 74 until we get on the let's call it the 74 radial. No, not correct. So we're going to be on the 253 from radial, and we'll translate what that is to. Then we're going to be on about the 58. Yep, because there's 3, 4, 5. So we're going to be about probably 56 from radial. And we're going to go about 26 miles until we have the town of Sanford in sight. And then we're going to follow the one up. And we're going to keep the one on our left side. And that will take us directly into Raleigh. So we're going to do kind of a combination. Otherwise, if we follow the freeway all the way, it kind of takes us out of the way, up and over. So this kind of lets us cut over directly. There's not a whole lot of visual in between here and there. So freeways and VORs are really our best bet. Okay, so we'll go back to our checklist. So we've completed our pre-flight inspection. We've completed our passenger briefing. Seatbelts are locked. Brakes are set. And let's unset them, hold the brake in. All our circuit breakers are in. Electrical is off. Avionic master is off. Fuel selector is to both. Fuel shutoff valve is on. Avionics. Okay. So we're going to go to engine start. So. We're going to prime. Okay. So we're going to go. Beacon on. 3. Okay. Crack open our throttle. Push in our mixture as it comes in. Alright, prop area is clear. Clear prop. Excellent. Get it to 1000 RPM. It's going to run very rough because we're cold. So we're going to have to idle for a while here. Okay, so it's 1000. And we're going to pull. Alright, immediately we look at our pressure and our temp. Pressure's on the higher end, but it is colder, so it's understandable. And we'll wait for our temperature to come up. behind us. Run up is behind us. So we'll give it just another minute here, and we'll taxi out. Pretty good. So let's go ahead. Test our brakes. Right is good. Left is good. Go ahead and taxi out. Alright, so here's our run up over to the left. Park brakes on. Seats are good. Cabin doors closed. Flight controls. Free and true. So let's check. We got movement. And we'll check behind us. My head tracking doesn't like this. Fuel quality still checks. Okay, so mixture rich fuel selector valve is going to be on both, and we're going to go to 1800. Alright, right magneto. About 100. Left. I'm sorry, that was left. Now right. About 100. They're within each other. Alright. We don't have carb heat, so no testing that on here. Oil pressure. Temperature's coming up. Vacuum's still good. Our amps are good. And we're going to go to idle. And we'll lean out again until we get okay. So our radio's set, avionics are set, our trim is set, going no flaps. Alright. So 55 is going to be our rotate, and our climb out is going to be between 70 and 80. So make a radio call. Monroe traffic, Cessna 418 November Victor, taxiing from run up to runway 23, Monroe traffic. Some beautiful beautiful weather.
Approaching runway 23.
Our cloud cover is 7,000. And looking at the forecast along the way, it starts to increase about halfway there. So we'll see how it looks, but we're going to start at 5,500, 5,500. So as I said, we're going to depart 23, left traffic, and exit to southeast. So we'll make that call. Minnow traffic, Cessna November 418, November Victor, departing runway 23, left, departing into the pattern to the southeast. Minnow traffic. And wait for any radio calls, anybody that might be on final. I see no traffic, so we'll go landing, taxi off, stroke, and we'll. All right, so carb heat don't have, mixture full, fuel on both.
Approaching runway 23. Entered runway 23, 6,900 feet remaining.
Alright, windsock verifies our wind for us. And we'll get center line here. And we will throttle up. Alright, pressure's still good. Temperature's good. Airspeed based on the way I had a flight planned. I was waiting, but once you pick up the VOR, you can essentially go direct to the VOR. There's no need to go further out of the way before going direct to it. So again, now we'll just follow the VOR. Afterwards, we'll go on about a 56 heading away from the VOR. So the 56 radial. Straight into Sanford. You know, they make this backseat seem so roomy, and I can tell you it's not. Now, I guess by the time, so me, I'm not that tall, so I have to pull my seat all the way forward, as far as it goes. So if you sit behind me, you might have that much leg room. But if you have a tall front passenger, or if you're tall and want to sit back here, there is not a lot of room. So we're about 14 miles out of the VOR, and once we intersect the VOR, like I said, we will we'll switch to heading mode as we fly over, and we'll adjust up to the 56 radial, 056 radial, and that will direct us into Sanford. I can see the lake up on the probably about my 10, 11 o'clock, and that is Jordan Lake, which is almost directly north from the airport. So the airport, actually, I think I can see from here, but I see the one that's cutting up, so we're going to keep that over to our right hand side. I'm not going to start to descend. Pattern altitude is 12,047. Field altitude is 247. So we're going to descend down, keep just to the west of the one, and we'll enter at a 45 as we get to traffic altitude. So I'm going to go ahead and discontinue autopilot. I'm just going to set this as a reminder. So 1200. And we'll go ahead and power down a little bit so we start descending. And we'll try and go for about 500 feet. Direct to, just so we have our distance from the airport, and we're 10 miles, so I'm going to make our call. We're on Unicom at 123075, so we're just going to make our position, our initial position, and so we are southwest of the field. Raleigh Executive, Cessna November 418 November Victor is 10 miles southwest. Inbound, Raleigh Executive. Yeah, I probably should have said inbound to join pattern for runway 3, but I can get more detailed on our calls as we get a little bit closer here. We don't want to clutter up the radar too much. Obviously there's not any other traffic there now, but so I do have the field to about 2 o'clock, probably actually about 1 o'clock, and so again we're just going to keep to the west of the one. So there's the one, you can see, goes up, kind of splits right in the airplane right now, and then we'll go into a 45 for the downwind for runway 3. So we can just send a little bit quicker here. Position call, let her know our intentions. Raleigh Executive, Cessna 418 November Victor, 5 miles west. We're inbound to join the left downwind at 45. Raleigh Executive. And that would be left downwind. Join the left downwind 45 for runway 3. Raleigh Executive. Right. Alright, so we're going to start turning towards the 45. Raleigh Executive, Cessna 418, November Victor, joining the left downwind for runway 3 at a 45. Raleigh Executive. Okay, I thought for sure the sim was a goner there. Froze for a good 5 to 10 seconds. Okay. Get down to our pattern altitude, 1,250. At pattern altitude when we join. We got nobody in the pattern currently. Alright, so we're going to make sure we'll leave it out a little bit because of the temperature. We want it to run a little bit hotter. I've arrived here on 3 before. I think it's always been on 2-1. Alright. Joining the pattern. We're already losing altitude here. That's not what we want to do. Alright, so we're in the downwind. Go ahead and turn. Just make sure we don't lose any more altitude. Yeah, we'll set our marker to runway 3. Alright, back at altitude. And, whoop. Alright, so we are a beam, so we're gonna go. Make sure we're at about 500 feet. Alright, so that is, we're gonna go by reference of this farmhouse over here, whatever this is. Raleigh traffic, Cessna 418 November
500.
Victor. The left base for runway 3 is going to be a full stop. Raleigh traffic. Alright. So I want to keep it around 70. And we're going to go one more notch of flaps. And it's going to be a quick turn here. Whoa, too quick. Raleigh traffic. Cessna 418 November Victor, final for runway 3, full stop. This is a terrible approach. I don't know what happened. Now let's get back on. One more notch of flaps. Honestly, we don't need them. light on, strobes off. Raleigh traffic, Cessna 418 November Victor, clear of active at Alpha 3, taxiing to ramp. Raleigh traffic. Alright. Clear right, clear left. So I've been to this airport one time in real life. Came here for a airplane expo. They had some super nice airplanes on display. Got to sit in a Vision Jet. They had some diamonds. They had some serious. Got to watch a TBM come in, land, taxi, and reverse thrust for to back up into a parking space. Okay. So we will cut it. Mags off. Landing light. Beacon off. Fuel left. We're going to turn our transponder off. Avionics off. Actually, we will have to turn this one back on so that we can do our external. So we'll put in all of our tie downs. That off. Alright. We're off. Welcome to Raleigh Executive. Could have pulled up a little bit more, and definitely not centered. Well, thanks for watching. This was a test. See if we can put together a film, video series of charters coast to coast, traveling from the East Coast to the West Coast. Not sure if I'm going to do it in Cessna, if I'll do it in Bonanza, maybe in a 208, maybe in a 414. We'll see. But gotta make sure that this works first before we tackle that. So thanks for watching, and until next time.